Welcome back as we dip into a medical discussion, but one that really should be of importance to all of us. I think many of us remember to apply sunscreen to our faces and our arms, but what about those often overlooked spots like your ears? Some of us that might stick out a little more than you'd like. The neck, the hands, they are in constant connection to the sun. And today we are joined by one of our favorites, Dr. Lauren Knight, to chat about the importance of full spectrum sun protection. And she's here to share why it's essential to cover every area and not just the obvious ones. And we asked our crew how they apply sunscreen because they know everything, to see if they get it done correctly. Let's take a look.
NIVEA Sun, the best to go. I am avid applier. No, I'm gonna go crazy. All the way.
Put it on, just very carefully. Don't always try and put, I know main things is what I know. Right, and then the ears.
I like my hair going one direction. I get all of that in underneath, but I don't miss a spot, same the side.
Those are the main things to concentrate on, and there's my wall paint there.
Oh yeah. Just lather it up.
I like it when it's kind of still bluish. You know it's still on.
Have to protect the world champions, you know? Shake it up. Make sure you got a good squirt, a good dollop, and then make sure that you slide it all over. Nice and smooth.
Okay, look, so I think that was an absolute lie. Ryle literally bathes in sunscreen, so you can get it everywhere, okay? The bottom line is I think all of us can do with a little bit of advice. So well done to you guys. Thank you so much. We've spoken a lot about sun protection over the last few weeks, but we can't stress it enough. So, Lauren, thank you so much for being here. Maybe let's start at the very beginning here. Why is it so important, especially at this time of the year with our sun, that we are adequately covered?
I mean, it is so important and we'll never stop talking about it. And the reason really is skin cancer and skin cancer prevention. So skin cancer is one of the commonest cancers in South Africa, and melanoma ranks as one of the top 5 invasive malignancies. And I think our incidence in South Africa ranks only second to Australia. So that speaks to kind of the burden of disease and the burden of the problem that we actually have in South Africa. And the thing about skin cancer is that it's largely preventable. So through your sun protection, your sun avoidance, you can do a lot to protect yourself. And then the other thing is that we want to drive awareness. So we want to enable awareness to allow for early detection, early treatments, allowing for better outcomes for people and ultimately saving lives.
And we've seen that in other areas where the awareness traction has been found. Within breast cancer, we have saved so many lives because women have taken control of that part of the process. So to feel like you can be proactive is amazing. And this is something where you can start the culture of protection from the very beginning with your little ones. And I always use that word culture because that's the stuff that gets learned and carried on and done when you're not there. You're not poolside with them, you know, and we want that. But that being said, I have to shame myself, my ears have been burnt so many times, and you'd think I can see them sticking out from the side of my head, but we often forget about little areas, the nooks and crannies. So what are those biggest kind of danger zones that we often forget about?
Well, exactly that. Your kind of risk areas live at the edge of your good intentions. So you've done your face and you haven't kind of extended into your hairline. So some of us might have a bit of a further receding hairline, but take it up into your hair, onto your ears, the tips of your ears, particularly important, and the back of your ears and down the back of your neck. We often see, you know, sun changes as well as skin cancers around the back of the neck. So back of your ears, down the back of the neck, your front of your neck, your hands, and the top of the feet also. We forget about top of feet in sandals, you know, on the beach, and the lips. Please don't forget the lips. I think the lips are often overlooked, and we see so much sun damage and obviously eventually pre-cancers and cancers in these overlooked areas. And it's so sad because you were just almost there.
Yeah,
and you just missed it.
You fell at the finish line, literally. So many other products will. So you think of kind of lip care, they will have an SPF in, but it's not necessarily the factor 50 or what we need. So I'm saying, like, let go of the aesthetic. If you're going out into the hectic sun, you need the factor 50 and you got to put it everywhere. What happens when we aren't fully covered if we are leaving those little gaps and spaces?
Well, I mean, you really run the risk of anything that's exposed needs to be covered. Anything that is exposed is at risk. So you know, we often think about faces, arms, hands, because they're out. You know, and we forget about our bodies. But if you're out in the sun, you need to think about your level of protection appropriate to the areas that is exposed. And exactly like you say, cover up if you can't put the sunscreen on, or use a hat to protect those areas, and use appropriate formulations for the activity or the exposure that you're going to be having.
Yeah, water resistant, sweating, those sorts of things. I'm just thinking of all the drivers, the long haul drivers who are looking at their right arm right now going, okay, maybe I need to think about that.
And right side of the face, we see a lot of, there's a good study that's actually a split face study of a truck driver in America.
Yeah, I've seen those photos.
And this purely shows you the damage the sun does with repeated exposure.
Which is a little bit terrifying. So how do we do it properly? Is there a one-size-fits-all? How do we effectively get to all the areas that we need?
We try and make it standardized. We're wanting to be at least, you know, start with the right product. You're wanting at least an SPF 50, broad spectrum, UVA, UVB. You want to be applying it in appropriate quantities, reapplying every 2 hours, potentially more frequently if you're swimming, if you're sweating. And you want to make sure you're applying in the right amount. So we spoke a lot about the 2-finger rule, everything that's exposed, so face, ears, back of the chest. And then look into different formulations. So can you get a spray for those hard to reach areas?
Yes.
Can you enlist the help of a friend, you know, to help you get those areas? And a nice tip is if you know you're going out, do your sunscreen before you get to the beach. That gives you the privacy to make sure you're getting into all the spots, and then you're just doing your reapplication when you're out in public.
You can even make a funny TikTok video with certain things blurred out in your bedroom beforehand, trying to get to those awkward, funny places.
That's the challenge for the team for next week.
I love that. So maybe there is a deeper question in that notion of all the different formats and the modalities that it comes in. How do you know what's right for you? And are some more effective than others? For instance, is a cream that sinks in more effective than a spray that lands on the surface?
I mean, yes and no. And the great thing about all these different formulations is that we know that the right sunscreen for you is the one you're going to like.
Yeah.
So the beauty of formulations and different options is that you can find one that you like, that you're happy to use, that you can afford. But yes, there is some nuance in the application. So we obviously like creams and lotions because your dosing is precise. We know how much you've put on. Whereas your sprays, your powder brush on things, it gets a little bit tricky.
A windy day in Cape Town, you're spray painting the person next to you.
Exactly, and that's the thing, you know, it's about kind of getting close enough to your target area. And the thing to remember with aerosolized sprays, you actually have to do 4 passes over the area.
Oh,
so you always see people just like kind of doing a spray and, like you say, spraying
running
the environment. But you've got to kind of focus and 4 passes over that area actually. So everything will give you the advertised SPF, but it's about how you apply it. So it's just really important to know the nuances in the applications and the different formulations.
And I'm going to say it, 50 plus and up. Make sure you are adequately protected, because this is something that all of us can do to potentially prevent cancer. It's as simple as that. Doc, thank you so much. We absolutely love what you represent, especially going into this time of the year. Full coverage is key, and it is the key to staying safe in the sun. Your skin will ultimately thank you, certainly when you start getting to my age. So be sure to protect all areas with NIVEA Sun, which comes in the trigger, the lotion, and the spray format for easier application. Remember, you can also buy any NIVEA Sun product and also stand a chance to win. And this is how.
Wouldn't you love to visit the home of tropical island of Treasure Zanzibar? Well, you can. Buy any NIVEA Sun product, dial *120*607#, and you could stand a chance to win a trip for 2 to the Safira Blue Luxury Resort and Villas in Zanzibar. Keep your till slip handy. T's and C's apply. You could be soaking up the sun in Zanzibar.